Um, I, whew, I don't know where to begin with this episode. This was this is arguably one of my favorite episodes. This could change. Every episode's gotten better except last week, the Mojo Windell Careful. This right here, this hits you. It hits you in different ways, many ways. But they're going to retcon it because there's no way. Because the way they end this show, the way they end this episode was like a season finale. And I loved it. I loved it. This is what I call quality animation and television. And this is also what I call how you do the X-Men. The Benio, whatever his name is, look, you might need to hire him back. He has been killing it on a lot of these episodes. This far, by far, is the best one he's done. Okay, so let's get into this episode. Automatically, this episode's a 9 out of 10 for me. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. This is an episode you think it's a typical. It's really they dealing with relationships, and the X-Men has their strong points. The action and the characters, but the relationships have always been their other strong point because their relationships have always been very good. It's not been forced, other than the Gene and Cyclops. I think that was kind of forced, but they were a good match. Gambit and Rogue are a great match, and they focus on that. There's two love triangles going on. You got the Cyclops, Jean and Wolverine storyline going on. Of course, that's been going on for years. That probably would never stop, especially this new Jean Grey. Then you got this love triangle between Jean Grey, the clone Jean Grey, Madam Pryor, and Cyclops. Then you got another love triangle going on, Gambit, Rogue, and Magneto. All of that is intertwined in this episode. And that is before we get to that third act, which is probably the best third act I've seen in this whole show. This new series. With a little bit, maybe even the old one, but definitely the series. So all that's playing off. That's going on. And you're like, okay. You would think that was boring, but it's actually intriguing. They do a good way with it. They go to Gambit and Rogue and Magneto go to Genosha. And the people of Genosha, which is Emma Frost and Sebastian Stain, they want Magneto to run Genosha with Rogue. And Rogue agrees. Gambit and Rogue kind of breaks up. But it was weird. Either this is an illusion or either it's something dealing with time. Yes, time travels in here too. We get the return of Cable. And if I just introduced Madam Pryor, she's in here. So they're having an interaction. So we finally get Cable to admit, it's a lot. It's a lot that goes on in this episode. This, it's so much in this episode, and it's like I think the reason people complain about it so much. It's 30-something minutes. They have 30 minutes to put it in there, which in my mind that's a more time. If they had 22 minutes, just be too much. But they do it very well. They do it well enough that you capture everything. If you're an X-Men fan, you get it. If you're not, this might be a little bit too much. I can see the what's the word I'm looking for? The frustration and the issues. But I loved it. So that's going on. And then we get to the third act. And Genosha looks wonderful. It's the best place for mutants and everything. But then we get to that third act when everything blows up the fan, shit blows up, things off a wire. And it's one of the best third act I have seen in this show in quite some time. I had to go back to the old show and watch that again, but it's the best third act I've seen this show has done thus far. And it's the best third act I've seen from any anime show this year. It's so much to unpack in there. And a lot of people are going to love it. A lot of people are going to love it. I loved it. I thought the execution was fine. They left me wanting more. And that's something the X-Men has always known how to do. And by God, Benio, he gets it. He gets it. And they need to hire him back. He need to be a ghostwriter or something. They need to hire him back. He should not leave this show ever. That he is. This show is top tier, top tier. And I tell people all the time, go check the show out. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. It may not be the best to you, but it's not that bad. It may not be the greatest, better than the original, but it's not that bad. To me, is this better than the original? I'm not going that far, but it's getting close. It's getting very close. I can say it's better than the last season. I mean, which is to me the worst one they did, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So, like I said, 9 out of 10 for me. I agree. It should have had a little bit more time, maybe an hour. This is fantastic. I just love the character interactions. I love that cliffhanger they did. I love the now if this was a season finale, I would have been pissed. But I know it's not. So I just love what they did. As a fan, what else can you ask for? This is X-Men. This is X-Men at its finest. And if Marvel wants money from me, they need to follow this. They need to hire Obinio, bring him on the movies, and follow this suit. The X-Men need to follow this show to its fullest. Did it look kind of WOKE? It did and it didn't, because the X-Men has always kind of not been WOKE, but they've always been a show and a series that you can get away with that because it's so it deals with so much discrimination, diversity. It's like I said, it's like that's why X-Men is my favorite comics, because it deals with a lot of that stuff, and you can find any character X-Men and relate to them, because every X-Men character is outcast. Somebody is being shunned upon because they're a mutant. That goes for any race. That's very relatable to me. So, as always, guys, like, subscribe, check this show, check this episode out. Best episode this season to me. All right.